Hello, I'd like to welcome everyone to the ordinance administration meeting for Monday, December 1st, 2025. The public is welcome to attend in person.
This meeting is being recorded. Sorry.
It is also being recorded. There is a Zoom link to attend the meeting. Just note that the in-person meeting will not be suspended or terminated if technology problems interrupt the remote connection. Sean Nolan was unable to make it today, so we do have Tony Gross stepping in his place. So we're going to start with, this is Margie Grace, this is Tony. And we're going to start off with number 1, new appointments, Affordable Housing Trust, Barnaby Prendergast. Can you just want to introduce yourself to the council and say some nice things about yourself?
All right, yeah, I'm Barnaby Prendergast. I live on Colonel Street in West Gloucester. I have a keen interest in housing and housing issues, and I have been watching the situation in Gloucester with great interest over many years. Affordable housing is clearly a major issue for Gloucester, and I think the Affordable Housing Trust really does a very admirable job of finding funds and using the funds as mostly as seed money to help people who might be looking at developing affordable housing to move their projects forward, particularly in the early stages. The Affordable Housing Trust provides a lot of what's the right word for it, promotion, if you like. It's PR for affordable housing projects, and I would very much like to be a part of that. I do quite a lot of advocacy work, both off my own back and also officially with Housing for All Gloucester, and I am very honoured that I would be considered at all.
We're open up to questions or comments. Councilor Grace, would you like to go first?
Well, thank you for your continued advocacy and for your being very dedicated to the city in general. And it does not go unnoticed by most people.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the Affordable Housing Trust is, I think it's important. It's only going to increase as things get worse. Every day you see more and more hardship and less money that people have, and everything's going up and funding is going down. So I think it's a great opportunity to help people. Whether it's advocating for more housing or assisting people with trying to get over the hump, which is just happening more and more these days. So I appreciate your willingness to put you back into it even more. Thank you.
No, not much to add to that. Barnaby, we know that you've been a steadfast housing advocate. You did not have to get off the Queen City Commission, correct?
I when I wrote my letter, I said I'll resign.
You did resign,
which is a pity because there's lots of potential on that committee still to do some stuff.
The charter has not been upgraded, where it no longer is that you can be on, you can only be on one committee. You can be on 2 now.
Right.
But that has not been updated online, so people don't recognize that. Anyway, no, I think you'd be a great addition to this.
Maybe that's something we can look into in the future.
No, it's there.
Oh,
It's already done. Just it's the Civic Plus or whoever.
Yeah.
Whoever does our
Which doesn't happen at
no.
It's only a few times a year or something.
I think they said it great. I think Barney would be a great member to this. And one thing about you is that you go to the meetings, as a regular person, you want to go and you attend the meetings, bi-weekly like we do, and you're there not just for 5 minutes, you're there from beginning to end. So I mean, your commitment just going to meetings there, and I know you'd be committed with the Affordable Housing Trust. So,
thank you. I mean, one of the things when I was lobstering, one of the things you know how you, as a Sturman, you receive a lot of advice from the captain about how. One of the things he'd say all the time is pay attention, and I do try to do that.
Yeah.
I listen to lots of meetings as well when I'm walking the dog, so which is great. Yeah.
We have our own podcast, maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, I guess we're entertainment.
Yes, Marcia,
Good for you. Good for you, Brian.
Committee recommendation, not to recommend that the city council appoint Barnaby Prendergast to the Affordable Housing Trust term to end on 2/15/2027, and I so move.
Second.
Do we have a, yes, all in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank
Three in favor, 0 opposed.
Thanks.
Welcome. We're gonna move on.
I'm gonna disappear.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I'll catch up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We got,
But-
yeah, I'm gonna go this one.
So, yeah. we're going
Yeah.
to-
We're gonna take things slightly out of order. We'll see if Council Worthy can be able to get here on time. So we're gonna move to CC number 2025-034, Grace, amend GCO chapter 22, traffic and motor vehicles, section 22 through 270, parking prohibited at all times in section 22 through 291, tollway zones. Whittemore Street, Curtis Square, and Washington Street, continue from October 6, 2025. Marcia Grace, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so this was brought forward by members of the neighborhood, over safety concerns about there's a tremendous amount of commercial vehicles, large 18-wheeler trucks that go down that road to do deliveries to the various businesses that are down there. A lot of businesses on the south side down the end of Whittemore, and the road gets very narrow, and there's a blind corner, so that when somebody is coming from Washington Street on to Whittemore and somebody is coming the other direction, you don't see each other until you're nose to nose. So there, to date, to my knowledge, there have been no accidents. However, there's been numerous near misses, and it's only a matter of time before something happens. There has been, this was originally put forward, and my instincts told me that as it wasn't going to pass. So that was why it came back here, so we could discuss it again, and do some tweaking to hopefully make it a compromise and make it something that everyone in the neighborhood can kind of accept as a solution. So my proposal at this point in time would be to potentially withdraw without prejudice. And what I would like to do is to enforce the 20-foot no parking. It's a state law. It just, if we can put a sign up where it's 20-foot no parking from Curtis Square, going towards Washington Street. So that hopefully would alleviate the issues on that corner, because that's where the blind corner kind of starts. It's already no parking in the city ordinance on the up closer to Washington Street, 30 feet from the intersection. So it would be, we're not technically eliminating any parking because state law already states no parking 20 feet from the intersection. What I'm trying to do is get it to be that this is paid attention to and enforced, and the sign to let people know, hey, there's no parking from here to corner.
Yeah.
Again, to repeat, this is state law, no parking.
So 20 feet from Washington Street?
No, that's already 30 feet. That's already in the book. So this would be 20 feet from Curtis Square going in a easterly direction on the southerly side. One of the issues that people came, people that were opposed to it, which there were 3 people that contacted me. There were 27 people that were in favor of the no parking. One of the issues that I have with the people that complained about it or were not happy about it, would be a better term, is that there was for months, there was a pile of trash that was piled where a car could park. There's been times when a boat has been parked there that's taking space where a car could park. So, it would be much better utilized if it was actually being used for parking and not, what it is more consistently used for. However, in the interest of trying to reach a compromise and make this so that it's the best of both worlds, and hopefully people will, realize that nothing's actually being taken away. We're just enforcing regulations, which, to repeat, is no parking 20 feet from the intersection.
Okay.
So, and I respectfully request that if we could have members of the public have something to say, because we do have someone online, and also Mr. Dundon that is in the audience that both expressed interest in having
Sure,
something
I
to say.
think.
Yes, that's absolutely.
We have Marianne Boucher and Zorba on.
Zorba had wanted to speak.
Do you want me to, I'll allow Zorba to speak.
Right.
All right, Zorba is, there he
Hey,
is.
Zorba, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Excellent.
You're up.
I'm up. Okay. Yeah, so I am pretty skeptical of any of these parking restrictions moving forward, considering the amount of parking that has already been taken 1 block away from this location, which has been devastating for my business. And every time that parking has been removed, it's been said, oh, we're just enforcing the law that's on the books. But instead of 20 feet, like is being mentioned, in my location, we've had all the parking taken. So where it was supposed to be 3 parking spaces taken, 6 parking spaces have been taken. So now we're talking about removing just 1 more space. But considering the track record and history, I find that very hard to believe that would be happening. And I just don't understand why we're selectively enforcing these rules in just this location. Because if this is the state law, I invite any of you to go around the rest of Gloucester and you tell me if there's no parking within 30 feet of any other intersection in Gloucester. I invite you to measure some parking spaces like I have done on Dale Ave, right in front of the post office, is 16.5 feet is a marked parking space by the DPW has marked those parking spaces. I don't think it is a blind corner. If it's an 18-wheeler coming up that street, you can absolutely see it. I think, as Marjorie said, there's been 0 accidents and people just need to slow down a little bit. If you drive up on Friend Street, there's only space for 1 car to pass at any time. It's a 2-way road. People figure it out. There's been no accidents here. I don't understand why we are just targeting this 1 block intersection area where if people aren't allowed to park on Whittemore, they're probably going to move their cars onto Washington Street. And we've already had a lot of parking removed near businesses that are struggling to survive. Carl's Cones just sold. I don't know how Tony's does any business, but people can park there and just, run in and run out. They're not going to get a ticket. It's really hurting our business a lot. And I don't understand why we keep targeting this one area to remove parking without finding any replacement parking. As far as I know, no spaces have been added anywhere to make up for all the spaces that have been removed. So as a local business owner who's already struggling with the amount of parking that's been removed, I don't think any more parking should be removed in this area unless there's accidents happening, people are getting hurt. If it's a safety thing that's hurting people, I get it. Let's change it. But no accidents. Those businesses have been there for a very long time. And I don't think a change is necessary. I think it's excessive to, appease the people who don't have to park near where we're talking about removing parking, because everyone who signed onto that letter lives far past where this actual bend in the road is. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Zoba. Of
And then, can I say something?
course.
Thank you. One of the things that I have tried to explain to people that have called me is that when a constituent calls with an issue, we go and we meet with the person. We listen to what they have to say. If they have valid concerns as a city councilor, we have to address it and we have to try to come up with a solution for those concerns. And while I absolutely feel for Zorba, in this particular case, as I said, the way that I have proposed it at this point would be just to be enforcing the no parking 20 feet from the intersection, and it wouldn't technically be removing anything. It would just be enforcing the law. And I'd also like to remind that Grove Street is also available for parking, which most of the day has no cars parked on it at all. And I know that we have people here that wanted to speak.
So you came in late.
I came in when I thought it started at 6:30.
No, 6 o'clock. Did I
Okay,
go
well, we're
6:30?
talking about Whittemore Street, is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah,
Here.
it's been withdrawn.
Oh, the whole thing's been withdrawn?
I can reiterate it.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
What I've decided to do is to withdraw without prejudice, so that way if I need to revisit it down the road, I can. But what I'm doing by way of compromise is to enforce the state law, which is no parking 20 feet from the intersection. So it would be 20 feet from Curtis Street going towards Washington Street. that's-
When did this, what law is this? I've never heard of it.
State law.
Yeah,
on the books.
20 feet? If you did that every corner in this city, everybody would be really mad.
Well,
So he
that's
said the
the
word
thing,
is you're
there's-
selecting this street. And we think there's prejudice there, okay? Because why are you, selecting this street? Do we need to get a lawyer? I mean, because this is ridiculous, okay? And the guy that just talked from George's, I've talked to him several times when I go eat down there, okay? This man owns a business down there. Well, let me say this. The people that own businesses down there, right, they made a conscious decision, understanding that this is a resident and business area, okay? So if their business has grown so much that it doesn't fit for them anymore, they need to move to Blackburn Industrial Park, Kettle Cove Industrial Park. They don't need to be on Whittemore Street anymore. It's not my problem. My mother's had that house her whole life. And I'm living there. My mother's has Alzheimer's, so it would be a hardship if you took any parking from us. Me and my sister are there almost 24/7. People are coming and going to visit her. She's 95 years old. Okay, you people are micromanaging way too much. Okay, and it needs to stop. Okay, I can write letters too. I can run around the city with a clipboard trying to get people to sign it. I didn't do that. Okay, some people do that. They think it's called, when you cry the victim all the time, we're kind of getting sick of it, okay? They made a conscious decision to move there. It's time for them to move. Not everybody else to bend for them. That's my opinion. Okay.
Thank you. Like Margie said, Councilor, it has been, removed, and I know that you were here, so you want to just. Speak on the, issue?
I do. I actually started the petition that people signed. There's a lot of people didn't sign because they didn't want the grief that, for example, this happens. They've got a lot from neighbors when they misjudge them. It's neither here nor there. Historically, if you check, the south side of Whittemore has always, and I underline always, I've been there 45 years, has always been no parking from Washington Street all the way down to the Forge. So that's not
true, but.
Okay, believe what you want. The signs were
I lived
posted.
there my
they
whole
fell-
life.
Excuse me, sorry, I just can't have you interrupt.
Okay.
The signs were posted and they have fallen down. They weren't replaced by the DPW. That's neither here nor there. The fact is, there's less than 20 feet corridor when cars are parked on both sides of the road. I believe there's about 21 feet they're supposed to have. I know for a fact it's less than 20. So that in and of itself, I don't have a problem with the people parking where they do. I do have a problem with that corner that they claim is not a blind corner. I have to drive up and down there every day, and that was the main reason people signed the petition, because coming up Whittemore Street to get on Washington, you cannot see anything. It's hard enough with Curtis with the people that come down the wrong way. That's a posted one way. People come down that road all the time. So it's a bad corner. There's no doubt about it. People park right up against the wall on the south side. And, every apartment that's there has designated parking, off-street parking that isn't used. So, all we're asking is that the street be cleared the way it always was. 18-wheelers need that 30-foot clearance on coming off of Washington to make that corner. It's a tight corner for them. So
Coming from Washington Street, it is on the books and it is posted with a sign that is no parking 30 feet from Washington Street.
I'd like to say he said something that kind of was wrong as far as I'm concerned. There was some signs up. We found out they were posted illegally on my street. For when I moved out and got married anyway, things changed. Somebody somehow in the DPW, without going through the zoning board, put up some signs. I don't know how this happened, and they might have known somebody, cousins or relatives. Yeah, there was a plumber living there, the plumber inspector on my street at one time. So these signs went up. I didn't live there, so we didn't think nothing of it. Well, we had them instantly taken down. They realized they were fraudulent and they came down. So those must be the signs he was talking about. But those signs, when I was a kid, I lived there my whole life.
Okay,
Okay, I'm 64 years old.
all right, thank you. Normally during the subcommittee,
Anyway,
this is like a,
I'm just
just here and
stating,
there, I just.
as far as the businesses, those businesses were there long before I got there. So they're not new people.
The forgery's been down there since I've been a kid. The Anchor Foundry, all that places, Gloucester Daily Times, nobody's ever complained about nothing down there. There's been big coal companies. When I was a kid, everybody went up and down the streets, no problem,
Fault Brothers, yeah.
until now.
Okay. I'm familiar with that area, because I lived in that neighborhood, and played at the times in the grass parking lot playing football sometimes. Is there anyone else online that wants to speak?
If anyone else has their hands.
Okay. So the matter has been withdrawn, so, without prejudice, so we have to vote on that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Can I
No, you
just reiterate, or
You-
You need to vote on it, yes.
We do, okay.
can you just reiterate what state law is and why?
I'm trying to find it. I can't find it. in chapter 90.
My goal is to find a solution that I know the opposition and for it, nobody is going to be 100% happy. So my goal is to try to find a way that there is a compromise. And I felt that the best way to do that would be to enforce the 20 feet from the intersection.
I think that we can look into it. We can talk to Mike Hale. And, you know, and see what he says too, because he's knows the laws and helps the DPW put the signs up. So then we would contact Mike
Yeah, I
and
actually
DPW.
asked about it this morning because I wanted to make sure that I had my facts all straight.
And like I said,
To talk to him again, absolutely.
okay. And like I said, you're withdrawing without prejudice, so if the matter does need to come up next year, you can do that. And we can do that again and then set it up to the council for public hearings, and so everyone can talk to you for or against, so. In fact, about this number CC 2025-034 has been withdrawn without prejudice. We have a vote on that, please.
I'll make that motion.
And my motion to withdraw without prejudice.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, the matter has been withdrawn. We're not going up to council.
Counselor, just so you know, Counselor Worthley is online.
Okay. All right, so you got, if you guys are all set.
Thank you.
They'll be coming in.
Did you come to a conclusion or are you still gonna?
It's
vote on it?
it's withdrawn.
That's withdrawn, but what about the other thing, about the 20 feet?
That's probably gonna be enforced.
We're gonna look into talk to DPW and get.
Curtis.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna move to matter number 2, CC 2025 033 Worthy, amend GCO chapter 9, trash recycling litter, section 92, PAYT containers. Recover barrels will continue from July 14th, 2025. Council Worthy, you are online.
Yes, can you hear me?
You like to speak on the issue?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, yes.
Okay, hello everybody. How are you doing tonight? I'm hoping you can't see me though because I'm sick and unshaven and I wouldn't want to.
No worries, we can't see you, we can just hear you.
All right, great. I'll be brief. So the goal ultimately is to prevent litter from recycling bins or boxes or bags that spread out, and also litter from purple bags people leave outside. And whether it's coyotes or raccoons or whatever get to it, or seagulls. And the goal is to have them in containers like most cities have. And I know we encourage it, but we don't legislate that. We don't require it. And every one of us have seen bags and bags and bags of purple bags piled up and top of one another at different points. And so when I introduced this, the goal was to solve some litter problems and not encouraging raccoons and coyotes and skunks, whatever else, mice, but also in anticipation and almost trying to compel the conversation about, let's have a conversation about trash companies that have lifts for the kind of totes, I guess they call them, that save a lot of time because they don't have to have someone lifting the barrels. That's obviously an administrative function. And I know Mike Hale is talking about a new contract. I think it's July 1st. He's indicated to me that it's most likely that a new contract will require totes, which would be provided by the company, whatever company has that. So we would want something on the books to require this, I think, if that's the case. I don't think we want to put something on the books now that requires people to buy barrels with lids, as much as we'd like to have that happen, and then in 7 or 8 months require them to buy or have totes. I guess that would make the other barrels unnecessary. So I think if you want to continue it till April to keep the conversation going, certainly the council could have reintroduced a council order in the spring once that's figured out. But if you keep it at O&A, then this saves that time frame and that process and all that. So it's the council's prerogative and this committee's prerogative, but unless you feel comfortable requiring barrels with covers now, and if the other company's going to provide, a company's going to provide totes so people have an extra barrel, it's no big deal. that's your call. So that's sort of where we're at. When I introduced this back in, I think it was April or May of this past year, it came out of a BNF meeting where Mike just said it'd be a lot easier if people would have barrels that are covered, so we don't have to be dealing with litter and rodents and things like that when we're talking about waste management. So anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. So happy to answer your questions, and you guys figure out how you want to handle it. I'm okay with whatever the committee decides to do.
Thank you, Council Worthy.
You're very welcome, Councilman Rashad.
Tony, you're a guest. Would you like to start first with your opinion on the issue?
I would say, I think the best way to deal with it is to withdraw it, so if it does come back forward, rather than having this linger around. One thing I do see in here is it doesn't address recycling at all. It talks about.
Right. I was going to try to amend that if we got deeper in this conversation.
I think that when we find out what we're actually having done is the time to come up with rules about curbside trash.
Yeah.
I think that's because we're gonna have to come up with, like the point you made about multiple bags and how that gets dealt with and things like that. So we're gonna, whatever, the contract will be kind of dictating how those things go. So I think withdrawal would be probably the best, but that's up to you, Counselor.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what the will of the committee is, I'm happy to do that too. The only variable would be if somehow the next contract doesn't have totes, what would be the trigger point to reintroduce? We just all, not me, because I won't be there. You guys have to remember to bring it up again, where if we had put this on the calendar for, April, May of next year, it would just compel the conversation to vote to withdraw then, amend it, put something else forward. So I just don't want to be forgotten about, because if we're in the same situation next year, I think we'll all wish we had put something forward to have people cover the trash. So,
I don't think that the conversation's gonna go away.
right.
And Council Worthy, I think, during our meetings, there's an opportunity for everyone to speak, and I know, I don't think we'll be done hearing from you. And that'd be a great opportunity to bring it up and, and just, request to the mayor time and speak to the council.
Yeah, so maybe what I'll do
about
is
it.
I'll put a reminder on my phone in May or June to come to city council for oral communications, raise a question if you guys haven't had some sort of plan to move forward at that point. Is that fair?
I think that's a great idea, and,
Okay.
I think that's just the best way to do it.
So if you are proactive, you don't need to see me again.
Well, I don't know if I don't know if they'll have the contract signed and know all that stuff, so.
I know. I'll wait till July then. I'm just teasing you guys. You guys are gonna be great, certainly without me anyway. So, do I request a withdrawal, or do you just make a motion to withdraw? I'm okay with
You
withdrawing.
Okay, well, then we can support
Okay.
that.
Make a motion to withdraw CC 2025-032.
Can you so move?
And so move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Thank
Thank you, Jeff.
Yep, you're welcome. Anytime. Thank you.
Okay.
Good night. Oh, is there anything else that's of mine on your agenda tonight? I don't think there is.
That is,
No,
the other one's gotta be, matters to be continued.
So last week, there was gonna be an OA meeting on the historic preservation, demolition, but then that got,
It got
Postponed.
postponed to January 5th, 2026.
okay, got it. Thank you.
Welcome. Good night, Jeff. Feel better?
Good night.
Yeah.
Thanks. See you
Go
later.
to bed.
I will.
All right. Number 4, CC 2025-049, Grace Benson, amend GCO Chapter 21, Street Sidewalks and Other Public Places, Section 21 through 18. Throwing ice and snow into street, Section 21 through 19. Removal of snow from sidewalks, Section 21 through 20. Removal or covering of ice on sidewalks, add new Section 21 through 23. Appeal, delete Section 21 through 23, 21 through 34, reserved, and add Sections 21 through 34, reserved. Yes.
Just so you know, Counselor Benson is online.
Perfect, all right. Do you want to speak first? Or
I either one.
Dylan, you're online. Would you like to speak on the issue?
Let me unmute. Did I unmute myself?
No, we can hear you.
Okay, yes, I'm just in the grocery store, so I apologize.
It's gonna be rain, so don't worry.
Okay. I gotta get my bread and milk, so let me, but anyway,
Feel free to
it's
let
gonna,
Marjorie take the lead then.
yeah, I will let Marjorie take the lead anyway. Marjorie brought this to my attention and I'm in full support of this. I signed on to it with it being in my ward, but this was brought to her attention and she'll speak to it by members of our police department, the community impact unit. I believe there's going to be some changes due to construction. So this is going to
This is the
go.
snowplow one.
Oh, the snowplow one.
Snow
Okay,
one.
sorry. I'm thinking
That other one has been continued.
okay, that's been continued. So what I will say about the snowplow one, and then I will defer to Marjorie. Is Marjorie and I spoke about this about almost last winter, correct? Marjorie, and some of the concerns that we both had was that people were not removing their snow from sidewalks. I had many constituents call me about businesses not removing snow. One constituent slipped and fell and was in hospital for several days. So this is really to try to get more oomph to it, to get the businesses and residents to remove snow and ice. And this is something similar that I've done in my own previous job in Beverly. And that's kind of why I brought forward it with Marjorie. And that is all I will say, is that I hopefully the real crux of it is supporting this to greater enforcement around snow removal.
All right, well, thank you. Enjoy your shopping.
Yep. I'm going to be listening. So.
All right.
My turn.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, so we were, Dylan and I were tasked by the mayor to work on ordinances, kind of fixing things in the books, and this is where we started. And the reason we started here is that last winter when we had those, series of, back-to-back storms, on Pleasant Street, there was a woman 8 months pregnant, fell on the ice. Fortunately, she was okay, the baby was okay, and the baby was since born and beautiful and healthy. However, it raised a lot of alarm bells. And then also at the same time of that, if you paid attention to anything on social media, there were people complaining left and right about the sidewalks not being cleared, the fire hydrants not being cleared, people shoving snow into the streets. And the police going by and not enforcing any of what we already had on the books. What we had on the books is just, basically was, please don't do it, but there was no incentive. So what this is basically doing is hopefully incentivizing people to do the right thing by adding a $50 fine if they don't abide by the ordinance. And that's basically it in a nutshell. Do you have anything else to add, Dylan?
Checking out.
I will quickly add to, I am getting my bread and milk, but I will quickly add that there was several seniors that have reached out to me who live in Central Grammar, Sheedy, McPherson, the old Armory building, about sidewalks not being cleared in and around where their neighborhoods are. And one individual slipped and fell, was in hospital. So really just trying to get these folks to understand. And I know many businesses that I had to reach out to after the fact of the individual slipping and falling, not knowing that they actually had to remove the snow from the sidewalk. And I think there has been discussion. I spoke offline with Tony about this, concerns a couple days ago. We spoke about this, concerns around like who's really responsible. So I am open to changing that to really make sure that it's the responsibility of the owner of the property. And if they have a lease agreement with the renter, say it's a business or a residential, then that would be on that would be between the landlord and the tenant. But it really, the fine is going to fall on the property owner, if I'm correct. And that's all I will add. I know, Tony, we spoke about this, but I know your concerns on that front.
Thank you, Dylan.
Yep.
Hey, look, I'll just quickly talk, and then I know since Tony spoke to Dylan, he can go after. I guess my only concern is I think this is something that Council O'Hara or something similar tried to do maybe 4 years ago into doing this, or something along the lines of having might not be exactly. I don't remember everything. I think the hardest thing for me is, I want safety for everyone with the snow. It's always the amount of snow that you get where you're gonna end up putting it. Should they put it in the street? No, I think everyone knows that. But, if there's a foot of snow over and over again, there's only so many places to do. And then I worry about the elderly who have a hard time with shoveling their own driveway and do that. Now, how long is their sidewalk that they have to do to shovel? Is a walkway, is a walkway suffice? There's multiple things, and adding fines is a good way for people to, not do it, to do it. But there's an issue of, if there's a lot of snow and then that turns into ice. There's so many what ifs and what could happen, and then we're finding someone, if you have someone who can't do it, who has a disability, and
There's also, if you look here, though,
Feel
there's
like-
the, have the right to appeal.
right. But then they go through the process and things like that. It's a process, and this is why we're,
Again, this is,
Right.
I mean, is it the perfect solution? No, but I think that
exactly,
the motive is to incentivize people to do what, it is already on the books that you are supposed to shovel the sidewalks in front of your home
yeah,
or in front of your business. And, in the case of the incident on Pleasant Street, it had been shoveled, but it refroze. So it's another thing where, you have to be diligent, especially downtown, about
Yeah.
retreating icy areas. There have been many, many falls. My sister broke both ankles one winter.
Yeah,
on,
broken ankles enough.
on snow that hadn't been removed. So I mean, it's to hopefully incentivize people,
And safety is one. I know that when it snows, and unfortunately, as unpleasant as all the snow things are, the sidewalks can get smaller, and then people start walking on the streets because they can't walk on the sidewalks. Now you have cars going both directions, and potentially people crossing on both ends. So I get the safety. It's just if the police are busy doing what they're doing. When the enforcement comes, and they knock on the door, they're just dropping a ticket off. So, that's my own concern. I get the safety issue of it, and I don't want anyone to get hurt. I think it's just the enforcing part. To me, adding fines to things that people are already expensive, and if they're elderly or disability, the ability to plow that sidewalk, or how big the sidewalk is, that's my own concern. Tony,
If
what do you
I,
think?
oh, sorry,
Go ahead,
Tony, you
no,
go ahead
ahead.
first.
Go ahead, John.
What I will say about like elderly or people with disabilities, the expectation for them to remove snow it's a different expectation versus say someone who is able to remove snow. Obviously, we've had looked at doing some exemptions in this, and legally the question was like, well, how does that work? And there is, I believe, the last iteration, we did put some exemptions in. I don't know if they're in the final product, if I have to look back, but I know I had spoken to legal about putting some exemptions in for people with disabilities and senior, and specifically older adults. But again, not every older adult. Some older adults are going to be able to remove snow from their home, including my dad. I know Tony, he's able to get the snow removed from his house. So again, I think that there's definitely, it's like, what is the expectation? Obviously, if someone is older and they're not able to remove the snow, I think also constituents have reached out to me, and I've also directed them to resources, including neighbors who have been able to help go remove snow for some older folks. And I think it's on all of us as we continue, whether this passes or not, there is still stuff on the books to remove snow, and reminding folks that there are resources available for folks that can't remove snow.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Tony, would you like to speak?
Yeah, I mean, I was okay with this when it didn't have a monetary fine to it, but I cannot in all good conscience put this on anybody but the owner of the building. Putting this on tenants is, I think, is just not fair. Now, they may have an agreement with the owner. And it's in there, but it still all has to fall back on the owner, because I think if we, I don't know how we do in court about with a tenant You know, it's like, well, they don't own that, you know.
And whether their rental agreement says they are responsible for shoveling snow and the owner holds no liability.
Right, yeah, right, I mean, how much does that rental agreement hold water
Right.
too? You know, the tenants in Massachusetts have a whole host of rights, and being held accountable for maintaining a landlord's property is probably not within
Well,
their purview.
I don't think this is so much the landlord's property as the sidewalks in front of the landlord's property, which is on the city ordinance already.
I understand that, but once you start adding a fine to it, that takes it to a whole nother level. So I can't, you know, the first part about throwing snow into the street, fine. I think that's great, but I really can't support this having it be on mailing. It's really, you know, first line is it's on the tenant or occupant. I can't support that.
If one thing we can do, if Grace and Council Benson are okay with this, is potentially continue the matter to the following meeting, if not January, the one after that. So we could talk to, you know, maybe Suzanne and how that will work and who's liable. Again, like,
So they've already reviewed this, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we basically what this was is it's modeled on other communities, you know,
Is
this is stuff that's in other communities near us that are doing it this way.
and she was okay with the language of
Yeah,
finding the
and
tenant.
it's, you know, I'm fine with lessening the fine. I'm fine. I think that you need to incentivize.
Mhm.
Not gonna have an incentive to do if nobody's going to enforce it. It's not gonna happen. And that's the issue we have with so many ordinances is
And
they're
what,
not
and
enforced.
that's another issue, I mean, how much is this gonna get enforced?
Yeah, well, yeah.
So that now we put another, you know, thing that. So,
It's gonna get enforced about as much as the $100 fine for parking on the sidewalks.
which has been enforced. I think we also need to get rid of ashes
Get rid of what?
down in the middle of the parking lot, the second. 2120, right in the middle on the second line up in black from the blue. That's
Oh, it's sand
keep
and
it
ashes.
covered with sand,
Oh, I know.
ashes or other suitable material. I mean, that's back in the day
Yeah.
when, you know, everybody had ashes to throw up. My mother used to throw ashes, like,
Yeah.
Ma, you know, we're
Well,
trekking.
that's part of the original ordinance.
You
That's
know,
why-
we're trekking.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely, I think, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I'm gonna try to be. I think we can make these changes. I mean, on the floor right now. I mean, we can, if we want to, we can say, like, this is the process. And I think with subcommittees, it's doing the work in the subcommittee and then not having it referred out. And obviously holding it as I'm open to holding it, but I also think winter is here. They're predicting upwards of 60 inches of snow. Who knows? But I think the thing is to really just getting people aware of removing snow. And I know under Massachusetts, a landlord can require a tenant under state law, landlord can require a tenant to remove snow and ice in Massachusetts when the tenant has an independent entrance. But the responsibility for removing snow on sidewalks would fall on the owner of the property. So I am opening to just making sure we delete that. I have the language open here. Anyone who violates this section, I mean, we can make it very clear, or anyone who violates the section, violations must be corrected. Making it clear that this is on the property owner. I mean, I'm more than willing to do that.
It's easy to do.
Yes. And I mean, we can do it. Obviously, I'm not there, so I can't, like, I'm not gonna, and I'd defer to Marjorie, but I'm more than willing
I would
to.
say that the smartest thing to do right now would be to continue it and we work on the language.
Okay. That's fine with me.
Yes.
Since there's been no committee recommendation made so far, the easiest thing to do would be to workshop it more and then, like, so it's not being
Bring it back to committee.
exactly, just continue it to.
I think the January 5th meeting.
Okay. So workshop it at the January 5th meeting, you're saying?
Before.
Oh,
that's-
before, okay. Okay. Okay, that's fine with me. I can definitely change, I can definitely work on changing it with Marjorie and make sure we have it presented by January 5th. And I think it's all on all of us in the interim to remind people that they should be removing their snow from sidewalks. I think it's on
Yeah.
all of us to do that. And I think the administration as well will be have been reminding folks through snowstorms about this. So I will be in communication requesting that information be delivered to the public.
Right, thank you.
Of course, I'm done. I've gotten a little too windy, so I'm done. I'm done.
All right,
So, so on this though, it says, in the ice part. But you know what I'm looking at here, you know, if you're gonna be back working.
What section are you on?
It's
2120.
2120, third line. Fourth line. Sidewalk, footwear sidewalk may be made safer, convenient by removing the ice, therefore, or by making ice even completely covered by sand, blah, 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 sorry. To prevent slipping within 6 hours after the ice forms. Now. What about reforming?
Well, that's where you need to, if it's not.
And how do we do this? You know, I mean, so I don't think we can really legislate the reform. That's all I just wanted to.
You know, again, this all comes down, we already have on our books, we are supposed to clear the snow from the.
I mean, that's
sidewalks, and the
it's on our
bottom
book.
line,
That's-
It isn't
Just-
happening.
right.
Most, and by and large, it is not happening. There are
Yeah.
many places, even downtown, when you go to walk, where the businesses there are not doing what they need to do to keep it safe. You know, and there's been multiple falls, you know, with the elderly people.
Mm-hmm.
As I told you, this came to me because somebody that I know saw this woman take a really
Oh, I've
nasty
taken-
fall
yeah.
on the ice, you know, and and the whole thing is to incentivize people to do the right thing.
And you know, it's funny when you're walking on, you're like, all right, I'm.
Yeah, you walk nice and slow and then whoop.
I distinctly remember one up.
So
going from
we're gonna-
Still to Captain Hooks.
Mhm.
Wow.
I think
Okay.
if I may, real quick, too, because Tony
I
did
heard that.
mention. Okay. I just sort of, I know you're kidding. I'm wondering too, could we add, I'm definitely going to ask Suzanne, you're saying, Tony, you don't think we can legislate like refreezing? So say like you get a snowstorm and then it mixes with a bunch of rain and then where they iced it before and then it rains and then the rain becomes the freezing rain and you got like a quarter of an inch of ice on a sidewalk. You're saying you don't think we can enforce that?
Isn't that a separate? That would be a separate event.
Okay. Because that's what I was thinking when you were saying it. So,
I was thinking
Okay.
about sunlight,
Snow melts, and all of a sudden it's
Snow melts.
40, then all of a sudden the next
snow
night's
melts
23 degrees.
comes out, you know, it's
Yeah.
it's days after the.
the event. Yeah, I don't think you can legislate. From what I understand from doing a lot of research, and I say we can defer to Suzanne, but I don't think you can legislate that. Again, I think it's just on all of us just to remind the public that they need to make sure to, when there's like when ice is coming or temperatures, just make sure you're sanding your sidewalks, pathways, etc.
Absolutely,
So,
Yep.
all right, I'm done.
right.
Okay,
Sure.
So, yeah.
I'm done.
2025-049 will be continued to the January 5th, 2026 meeting. So on to the next items. There's 2 items to be continued. CC 2025-041 Wordley, amend GCO buildings and building regulations by adding a new article. 6 demolition delay, which is continued to January 5th, 26. And then the other item to continue is CC 2025-048 Grace and Benson. Amend GCO chapter 22 traffic motor vehicles, section 22 through 270 parking prohibited at all times by adding School Street easterly side, beginning of the intersection with Middle Street. Do I need to read the whole thing? No, perfect. Okay, so those 2 items will be continued to our next meeting. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all for attending and good night.